heart beating. I mean, we just launched, click the button, and just stay like hours looking the screen. We almost eating popcorns while you are watching how it's racing. It's amazing. That experience is definitely the best experience.
Welcome everyone to Masters of Crowdfunding. In today's episode, we're talking to Eric Garcia Casanova, who is the co-creator of Filler, which is a storage solution for pocket board games. Now, Eric just finished up his first Kickstarter campaign and rose over 149,000 euros. But before Filler, Eric was actually creating products for others in his studio, where he was a product designer. And with Filler, it was his first time going into creating a product for himself. So in today's episode of Masters of Crowdfunding, Eric tells us how he did it. Enjoy. All right, Eric, we're live. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's jump right on in. Tell us about Filler. What is it?
Well, Filler is a product that was created from the heart. It's a storage system for board games, for small board games. I'm an industrial designer and board gamer for almost 10 years, more or less, and I create a product for myself, for my own collection. And someday, of course, I also a usual backer of Kickstarter, and I always was in my mind to launch something with a crowdfunding platform. I realized that I have the product that I need to launch. So, because it's about board games, it's about design, and it's a great formula for the Kickstarter. So we just jumped to the pool and try to do something with this, and we are almost in this step or further steps of the project.
Yeah, well, I mean, raising 149,000 euros is definitely no small feat for first Kickstarter creator. So definitely huge achievement to even do that. So what was the main problem that you were trying to solve with Filler?
Well, the main problem is that we are a small company. We are two from the beginning. Although we have different partnerships, but of course we have our own jobs, our own works. So it's the most difficult point is to be competitive in the price of a product. Not only in the product, but also in the shipping, in all the logistics, in the fulfillment part, which is the worst part maybe of a project like this. And as I am individual, you need to raise quite a good amount of money to produce something, to manufacture something. So the bad point for us was to be not as competitive in the price and the offer as we would like to do so. But we hope that this system or that this company that we are creating could allow us in the future to create more projects and be more competitive and solve this problem also.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense in terms of the problems that you're facing now. I was also curious about, the problem that, your product is solving for the customer. You talked about it a little bit when you were explaining Filler. But what was that main problem that you faced, as a board gamer yourself that led you to create the product?
Well, board games now are having a great era, a great age of board games. From the beginning, it doesn't matter so much the components or the games itself, the quality of them, more than the mechanics itself. But with the time, the public and the users are more and more ask for more quality, not only in the game itself, but also in the components, right? So this sector is growing up and also requires not only the games, but also all the things that surrounds this hobby, including, for example, tables, in this case, accessories, and all kind of gadgets that could improve the experience itself. In this case, we want to focus in the in the storage of the board games, because main products are focused in the play itself, but not in the storage. The truth is that the board games, as a book, for example, spend more time in the bookshelf, in the library, and in the furniture rather than playing them. So I always love to have everything tidy and as little mess as possible, locate everything as I want, and as a personal collection, I want to have everything good, right? So in this case, the main point is that, for example, a game like this size, could enter in the same space. Well, I have to see, of a game of this size, right? So how you can manage to do that order, that organization. So following that idea, I just create for myself, for my own needs, a storage system for those little pocket games that are always hidden under or above or behind all the big games. So that was the main problem. Just as natural as that, as creating something for me, from my own collection.
Which is a great way to do it. For a lot of creators, I feel like some of the best products are just solving a problem that they had. And then even better, that the problem that you had is something that thousands and thousands of other people had as well, which is why the product was so successful on Kickstarter. And some people may not know this that are listening right now, but actually on Kickstarter, games is the biggest category. I think it's over 2 billion has been raised in that category. So it's really smart to go after that category as well and create a product that serves that market that is so big, which is really great to see. So I want to go to day one of your campaign. I think you raised 45,000 euros in the first day, something around there.
Yes, more.
What was that like? To take us back to that moment.
Yes, heart beating. I mean, we just launched click the button and just stay like hours looking the screen. We almost eating popcorns while you are watching how it's racing. It's amazing. That experience is definitely the best experience. It was a big path until we get that point, like 1 year and a half, 2, and seeing that it's going on pretty well is fascinating.
Right. And I'm glad that you said that as well. 1.5 years to 2 years is what it took even to lead up to that point. You know, I would actually be curious to dive in, maybe not to 2 years ago, but what did it take, 6 months leading up to the project in order for you to have that big launch? Like, how were you able to bring in 45,000 euros in 24 hours?
The first thing is to have a great product that you believe in, of course, because you need to be confident that you can sell that and you can put or connect with the community in some kind of ways. And in this case, I'm industrial designer, so in my own studio, we also develop more ideas, but always is not so clear that you can go to manufacture something or to go to the market. And then after that, of course, about having a great product that you believe that it's the great platform or the great channel or whatever. The next point, of course, is the pre-campaign. It was definitely the best part because, for example, I always say, for example, one day you want to play basketball, and maybe your neighbor also want to play basketball, but if you don't communicate each other, you cannot play, right? So you have to do that communication as best as possible in this case, and for sure that, as you said, that if it's a product that you want for yourself, it will be also for another one, right? So you have to reach another people from all over the world. It cannot be just friends or families. You have to connect, and in this case we are from Spain, so we have to connect with US in this case, because Kickstarter was mainly from US, right? So at this point, the pre-campaign was just the formula to position that great product. Once you have that product, the good resources, good pictures, good photographs, good whatever. But after that, of course, position it for sure.
Yeah. And can you walk us through what went into your pre-launch? Like, what was your pre-campaign strategy that worked so well?
Yes, we work with LaunchBoom, of course. And well, the main point is that we create good ads. In this case, starting with some tests, with copies, with testing first the pictures, and then testing the descriptions of each ads. And in our case, the first tests were almost the definite ads. But we also perform and try to make them better, to perform them better. And we connect it with a landing page, also provided by you, very, very comfortable to use and very natural. Without knowing programming or whatever, just put in all the resources and quite intuitive. And then connect it to, in this case, with MailChimp. So thanks to that newsletter, we create a good backup of bakers. That was first a VIP baker that has put $1 in our case, and then other people that was interested. So in total, we get like 700 people more or less as a VIP, almost for 3 months of pre-campaign, more or less 3-4 months of pre-campaign. But we also have like the interest of almost 4,000 people. So altogether with this, the most important thing is to position in the first minute of the launching, just when you hit the button, you just to make sure that you have done all your homework well. So if you have do everything well, then the other goes naturally. And as you said, we couldn't raise that almost 35-40 case in the first days, in the first hours.
Yeah, which is wild. Yeah. I mean, yeah, thanks for going through that. It's the pre-campaign, the pre-launch, which is the most important part to have a strong launch, as you just went over. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, for people that are listening right now, to make it really clear, it was an email list built through Facebook ads, and the email list was about 5,000 people total, with 700 of them, or around 700, putting down a $1 deposit to become a VIP, which ultimately led them having a really, really big launch. And I'm curious, was this the first time that you ran Facebook ads?
Yes. It's the first time I use Facebook itself.
Oh, you've never used Facebook?
Yes, but long time ago, like 10 years or more ago, and I have never used social media itself. I've had no personal social media. I only have Instagram for our design studio, but I'm not used to the social media.
So what was that like doing Facebook ads? Was it hard?
No. Quite easy. I mean, from the beginning. We prepare a lot of resources, a lot of shorts, a lot of videos, but finally we just use one video and one description. And I always remember, we work with Era in this process, and I always say to her, like, but people are not getting bored of seeing the same pictures. And it's like, no, it's okay. They are working, so we were still going with that. So it was quite easy because we just position 1-2 ads and see if they work well, we increase the money. If they go bad, we delete that ads. So it was quite easy, and I don't know.
So you were saying that right from the beginning, I think you had quite a bit of success with the ads, correct? With the creative that was working. So there wasn't too much optimization that needed to happen from the beginning.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, which is definitely ideal. It doesn't always happen, but it's great to see, if you can get the creative to work. I will say that you all provided very, very high quality creative. with the videos that were being used, and that's probably a big reason why it did so well right out of the gate.
Yes, we know more or less, as I told you, we also back other projects, so we are used to the language of Kickstarter. So we know how to explain a campaign and what kind of resources do we need.
So we've talked a lot about what has worked when it came to marketing. Was there anything during the campaign when it came to your marketing that did not work?
I'm not sure. During the pre-campaign, it was clear what was working or not, but not so clear during the campaign, because the time was everything is going so fast day to day in those 30 days of campaign. So we don't have really clear if something worked or not too much, as we see in the pre-campaign. And in this case, for example, in our case, the email marketing during the campaign didn't work so much with email platforms that send a newsletter to backers. Didn't have a very good ROAS, returning of investments. So, and then, of course, the point of having a big budget of marketing during the campaign. For us, as we are 2 people, as I said from the beginning, it was crazy to spend like more than 500 or something like that every day. We cannot handle that right now. So at that point, we should to be more conservative in the marketing. And that's also another point that we couldn't handle, because we didn't have cash flow in that moment, and we can support that marketing, that strong budget that we need for that. So at that point, we take some decision of canceling or reactivating. And if you cancel and you reactivate an ad, the ad has to start again to perform and to do great. So that's what I'm telling, that we are not sure in some cases if we did well or not activating or deactivating or having less budget or biggest budget. Also in the pre-campaign was quite easy, because we didn't have to take so fast decisions like, okay, we can put $10 more. Okay, but saying like, okay, today we have to put $200 more every day, not a week or whatever. So that was the biggest point in the marketing.
And what did you use for the live advertising? Did you work with someone on that?
Yes, we work with some channels, some YouTubers, some influencers that we already know from Spain, but also some from US. But we didn't really focus on that part. We almost just do like 4 or 3 collaborations. Some of them pure collaborations, like, okay, if it goes well, you will receive a donation in product donation once we fulfill, and some of them just with money, of course. And the main difference is that we also take the decision to do ads with the Board Game Geek, which is the biggest board game community. So we have also clear that doesn't matter if we will have Facebook, YouTube, whatever kind of ads, that we also want to put some ads in the community itself that we know.
And how did those ads work? Did they work well? Did they perform well?
Yes, quite well. We also collaborate with one company, in this case Satu Games, which is a UK distributor, and they have a newsletter, like a newsletter service, like weekly newsletter. And comparing with other kind of products like Product Hype or other kind of email marketing, they perform better. I mean, my advice is that if you can, you have to collaborate, or you have to participate or put the money with all those people that are also in the same market. So in this case, the board games. So once that we collaborate with board games community, they were better rather than collaborating and merging with another that, for example, in the same position of feeder storage system for board games was like a bike also, right? So the public was too different, and I think that the best point was to try to collaborate with the same sector.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And just to be clear again for listeners, so when you were talking about the email marketing and some of the newsletters that did not work, they were things like, I think you said product type, or were there other ones that you tried to use as well that were more, let's call them like general backer newsletters? Those are the ones that did not work. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. If you can find a newsletter or a community that is, of course, your target audience, in the case of the newsletter that you mentioned that had a whole bunch of board gamers, that's makes sense that it would work better. When it's cool that you got good results from that as well. You know, or were there any big mistakes that you made, or anything that you would do differently if you could do your campaign over again?
That's a big question, but I don't want to be like, we did everything okay, right? But the main point was that, I don't know. I don't know if we should change something, or I'm quite happy with the results and with the natural steps that we follow during the whole project. We take 1.5 years or 2 because we need to make every step logic. And for example, when we create a prototypes for the resources, we know that they should be the best prototypes that we can imagine. When we go to collaborate and to create the video, we go like 10 hours by car to another province in Spain to focus and go with those that we really want to work with. So we take it slow in this case, but we want to make it slow because we didn't have a rush really, and as it's something for us in this case. Right now, if we want to do a new project, of course we will be more fast because we have learned a lot of things. We really did a master in crowdfunding, but of course the best point the best point right now is that we still are learning. So we are not sure. Right now we are focusing in having a great manufacturing, having a great product quality, and we will not fulfill until we have a great product quality. So if that means that we have a delay in the fulfillment, that I'm not meaning that we will have, but if we have, we will prefer and we will have the high quality for sure, instead of being faster or whatever. So, and that's the best point here, is that the community is very comprehensive. If you explain to everyone what is happening in your project, they understand you. We are also very crazy, but we almost answer all the emails that we receive, all the messages that we receive in the very same day or in the next day. And I think for me it's something very special, because when it happens to me also, I want to be answered. Just yes or not, or I don't mind, but something like someone is over there. And in this case, this is very important for us, as it's very important that people see that it's a true person and people and team that is behind this project, that really see that they are creating, because crowdfunding from the beginning was very natural and was very real, but now this is like merging with big companies and you don't know, and you sometimes, I think that sometimes backers, as a backer myself, we forget that there are people, real people, not only big companies launching a hit, a great, an awesome product, right? So in this case, we have been very natural during all the process, not only with the collaborators, but also with the backers and with all the people. So we are quite happy, and I don't know, maybe in this next step, we will see that maybe we should do another things instead. But I always believe that if the path was like this, it was the only path. I mean, I couldn't go backwards and say, okay, I should do it like this, because in this case, we learn a lot, and all the experience has been positive in this case.
Right. Which completely makes sense. And going to your point about the customer experience and realizing that there is a human on the other end of it, and even surprising backers that, you're getting back to them within 24 hours. It actually reminds me of, it's different, but there is some similarities with our own newsletter, which I write, I send out. People are surprised when they reply, and then I get back to them. They're like, hey, is this actually you? Or is this, like a robot or like someone on your team? I'm like, no, this is really me. Like really me, person writing this email, sending it to all of you right now. And in this day and age, we forget that there could be other people on the other end. And a lot of companies don't even go ahead and take the time to do things like what you're doing and respond, but it can make a huge difference in the customer experience. A really, really big difference. So is filler something that you're trying to do full time? Are you full time doing this and just focused on this as its own standalone business?
Yes, but in my case, it will always will be connected with my design studio, always, because I'm designer. So I always want to be the designer of this product. I don't want to focus on the business part. I'm the user of the product. I have more ideas, and I think that they are quite original. You can like them or not, but in this case, filler was quite original. There is nothing like this in the market. So I always want to, when I play, in this case, I'm thinking about creating something, a new product, and it will be also always connected with my design studio, for sure, because in this case, the design also helped me, also participating in other projects, helped me to improve in this project itself. So in this case, we are still two, but we are thinking about having more people in this project. So it will be a big company, or a medium company, but a company, of course. And there will be people working on that every day. But I want to focus right now in my studio, in the design, and create and still be as natural as possible in this way, because for me, it's in the same way for my professional career right now. So creating a product for myself was always a dream, because I create products for others, but I always want to create a product for myself. So right now, it's great to have an opportunity of street creating products for other people, and also create a product for myself. So I could do both things in this way, because they are both in the same world. And also one of my ambitions in this case, my personal ambition also, was to bring to the studio and to help more people to develop more ideas, because it's very common, for example, when I meet with my friends and they say, oh, I think about a great idea, and it's like, okay, and what, you can do it, right? Why I should do it? So a lot of people have great ideas, and a lot of people reach a moment in their life that wants to do something with them, maybe buy a house or have a child. Or in this case, we create this big baby, which is filler gaming. So this is our baby. So right now we want also to connect with other people and share our experience in this case, and of course still growing with filler, but both worlds are in the same world, because the main differentiation of filler was to avoid that visual product that we are accustomed in the board games, which is like a geek visual, right? So we want to make an approach of the design And because a lot of people appreciate the design, and not everyone wants a big dragon in their gaming accessories, right? So that was the the point.
No, it's awesome. And it's, you mentioned your friends coming to you and saying, "Oh man, this would be like a really cool product idea." There's a lot of people that I feel like, a lot of people that have product ideas that are waiting to go and make it a reality. Do you have any advice for those people that have an idea, they've always dreamed of actually creating it? What advice would you give to that person?
Just jump. Of course, you need some money, for sure. But I'm not talking about a big money. Maybe instead of buying a car, you can do this in the same way. Because you can create a pre-campaign and a crowdfunding campaign, and it's a great way of seeing that if the market is good or not. And if it's not, well, you don't waste so much money, right? The most point is that you will waste more, or you will spend, instead of waste, you will spend a lot of time. You have to make everything, every detail. Of course, in the personal point, I like the designing and the creating and the drawing part, but there will be a lot of parts that you want to, like register a company, or maybe being in the full time in a 30-day campaign, answering hundreds of messages, or this kind of other stuff, or of other tasks that you don't want to do. But if you will have an idea, it's not so much time. I mean, it's a very short period that maybe you can try, like, okay, let's try. I said, like, we have been like 1 year and a half, more or less, since we created the product, like 2 years. But you can do it quite fast. It's not so long. It's not like trying to open a small shop in your neighborhood, right? That you need like years and years of trying to be rental, or trying to be positive with the money. And in this case, it's quite complementary to start that having a regular job. In this case, I can do both things quite easy. But of course, you have to be passionate about that. It has to be something, it has to start like a kind of hobby. It has not to be something that it's like a punish, or you feel bad about doing that, because you have to be aware that you will have to spend time, spend money, of course. But the time it will be most consuming, the time, and when you go to sleep and you are still thinking about the project, and you have to reach a day or whatever. So it's quite complicated in this case. It's like if you want to make a sport by yourself, but if you decided to make a sport at your home, a lot of people cannot do it by themselves. They have to go to the gym, they have to start spending money, they have to go to spinning lessons or something like this. So in this case, we just create a product, but I remember that there was like a big gap when we spent our first 5Ks. That is not so much money, but it was like, okay, we spent 5Ks, so we have to go now for sure. We have to do it. So in that point, sometimes spending money a little bit, it doesn't matter if it's too much or not, but when you start spending money and when you start spending your time, you notice that you have to do it. You don't have any other option.
I think it was a good mix of practical advice, and also, I mean, all of it was very practical, but also talking about the realistic fact that it's going to take time and money that needs to be invested to make this happen. But I just think there's so many people as well that are just scared and like sitting on the sidelines. They just need to take that first step to even see if there's something that they may want to end up doing in the future. So what are some links that you want to leave the audience with? What are some places that some links where people can keep up with you?
Well, Another big point is to have great partners, great communication with your partners. In this case, you were awesome. Yeah, we are very happy with you. We have a problem, and as you said, you answer in the next day. So if you are not so confident in the beginning, with the time, if you have great partners, that helps you not try also to make money. We have a lot of partners at the beginning for manufacturing and fulfillment that they help us a lot, and we still didn't spend money with them because they know that they have to do this kind of work before if the business goes well or not. So if it goes well, it's a win-win, definitely. But it's a necessity to make sure that other people are also great partners, that you can ask them whatever you want and they will answer. I'm always have a lot of questions, and I don't want to be those questions without an answer. So I always write big emails. I don't mind if that partner or that people behind that email will answer me or not. If they don't answer me, it's not for me in this case. So with the time, we get more confident and we know to who we should talk or not. And that's also, as I told you, we are very happy with you. And maybe this is the reason that I'm doing this with you right now. Because I'm doing this just because we have like a kind of great relation in this way. Of course, it's not a personal relation, but we believe in this kind of collaboration. So a lot of people in the past, doesn't matter. A lot of people is willing to help you. The crowdfunding was awesome during the whole process. Like a lot of retailers, a lot of partners, that was like a psychologist part, like, okay, today I'm bad. And they say, don't worry, it's okay. During the pre-campaign, we remember that we connect a lot with Spanish retailers and with Spanish companies. And they were like calming part. It's just calm. Like, okay, you are doing well. Take calm, whatever. So having and surrounding, although we are only two, surrounding with great people and with great teams, and creating teams with other people was great in this case.
Awesome. Eric, I really, really appreciate you sharing your story and your time with everyone. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you to you, of course.